Hi, guys.
Hi, everyone. I'll take it by the frantic wave. Frantic. I'll stick with frantic wave.
It's getting cut, so you won't see it.
Oh, okay. Right, everyone. Tonight we're going to be talking about. Oh, before I start, Happy Father's Day to everyone. Whether you're
Happy
a biological
Father's Day.
father or stepfather, is that still a word? Is that still allowed?
Yes.
Stepdad, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Happy Father's Day to you, anyway. And I know that's going to upset some social justice warriors out there, but
There you go.
we'll begin. Right, we're going to have a topic tonight about the issue and things that kind of involve it as well. Right, what I want to ask you is both here. Oh, better introduce yourselves. Still got Martin, still got Bernard, and I'm Ian.
I had a week off.
Yeah,
Didn't we
it's
all?
good to see Martin back. We did enjoy Fraser and his little stand-in, but he's got cream for his little stand-in. Right. No, let's be honest. Do you expect any difference, really?
No, let's face it.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to ask you, do you think Father's Day is as important as Mother's Day?
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I do. I'll celebrate it regardless if my mum and dad are still here or not. I'll still give them the appreciation and that they deserve, just like every other mother and father deserves. I think it's as we were talking earlier, I think, you don't need a day specifically to, appreciate your mum and dad. You should do it every single day, because when they're not here, that's when you'll know about what you will appreciate them even more. But I think it's just a really nice gesture to have that special day for them.
I mean, what do you think on that one? Because I know I'm coming from a personal point of view on this one. I don't have either one alive now. And it's as you say, it's not until they're gone that you kind of appreciate and understand the sacrifices, really, that they've made. I think
Exactly.
probably also as you get older and you realise that there's times like you might have, sounds horrible, slagged your mum or slagged your dad off for not being there on some occasion or doing something. And then as you go older, you kind of realise, as much as you want to be, you can't be there 24/7.
No, true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Definitely.
I think, because as I say, I lost my mum when I was 15, but she was there for every milestone I ever took. And afterwards, where my dad had to step up even more, he was there. So he never really missed anything really in my life. So I'd say I totally give, just, I couldn't, just like all of us, I think would say our mum and dad were the best.
Oh, God, yeah. No one can take the place of them.
No, exactly. And I know there's some people out there who don't get on with the parents and are probably thinking, well, my mum and dad with this, my mum and dad with that. But you've still got to give them credit for, for what they did.
Yeah.
To some extent. I mean, because some people might have been fostered or adopted, and people have stepped up to the plate who weren't the biological, and they deserve the appreciation just as much as biological parents do.
Yeah, I mean, because there are some deadbeat dads out there. We all very much aware of that, and there's some deadbeat mothers as well who are not the most ideal person to be around. So I think, as you say, it's nice to have that appreciation shown to you.
And I think if there's parents out there who don't get that appreciation off the kids, then they've got to look back and take a look at themselves and think, what have I done? Could I have done better? I think, because people need to be held accountable for their actions, doesn't matter if it's your mum or dad. I mean, if I'd be the first to say, if I had a deadbeat dad or a deadbeat mother, I'd be like, well, I'm not fucking getting them anything, they can fuck off.
Yeah,
I class myself as one of the lucky ones, so.
I mean, I know as a parent that I wasn't there all the time, and that's things that I can never get back, and I do feel guilt about it. But I do know now. I say to my children whenever I see, I haven't seen them for a while over this that what's going on in the world. But I've spoken to them, messaged them, and always said that I do love them and
Exactly.
make up what they're doing.
Do you know what, though? That's the thing. You've realised that. There's some parents out there who don't realise that until it's far too late.
Yeah.
And your kids are still at an age where, do you know what? They want to spend time with you and want to see you.
Yeah. Which is sometimes okay.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I'd give anything to spend time with my mum and dad, just like you would.
Oh, God, yeah.
That's what I mean. But there's some people out there who don't appreciate what they've got and being proper selfish and don't give a shit.
I mean,
and I know a couple
understand.
of people like that myself.
I don't understand the mentality. It's a bit of a sideline in this one, but parents who, for no legitimate reason, I'm not saying there might be reasons why, but don't involve themselves in the children's lives. I think the best way to describe it is a fella's got a girl pregnant and suddenly went, I don't want nothing to do with you or the kid. I don't understand. I can't see how you can come to that conclusion.
No,
I don't.
Completely hate that type of. If you're man enough or if you're big enough to do the deed, then it's your responsibility to look after what you've created. I've been in that boat, and I will hold my hands up and say that I was not in a position to provide, and we came to the mutual decision of it wasn't the right time to have anything.
But that's the thing, though. You've had that conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It was completely mutual across the board, and you had that level of respect for each other. Where what Ian's probably suggesting, some people don't have that respect from another person.
Oh no, I know that's what I'm getting at. Like I can't see how someone can do that and then be like, well, it's not my problem now. I'm washing my hands of it. I don't see how someone can do it. I really don't.
Especially when at the end of the day, it's not the child's fault. Say you suddenly realise or you got to that point in the relationship where you're not mutual with each other. That's fine. You separate, but it's still, if you've got a child in the equation, it's still your child.
Yeah.
Because to be fair, if you look at it, if you do split and you do go your separate ways, fine. You don't take it off on the child. But if you think of it, like most people, when they get someone else in, it's a battle of who's, in that child's life and more than the other. But
you hear too many people now using kids as weapons.
Yeah. But if you look on the other side, instead of having 2 role models, you've got 4. You're putting the kid at a more of an advantage, to be fair. That's how I'd always see it. Well, I'd hope to.
Just say we're not advocating everyone to split them up.
No, we're not.
Just make it a bit more advanced. When a kid suddenly gets 4 Christmas presents, yay!
But then there's always a downside to that. Then, if the way you just looked at it, then if you flip it on the other side, you might get one of them who completely slates the other partner off because they're no longer together, and then badmouthing like whoever could be the dad, the mum, the stepdad, the stepmother, and then it's like the poor kid stuck in the middle, doesn't know what to do, and then they're having to take sides because they don't want to upset either one.
Yeah. Ideally, you'd want the other situation where all 4 people can get
along. God, yeah.
And, the focus is the kid, but
that's quite a rarity, isn't it? Let's face it.
I don't know whether that's because now with how dating is and all that. I think that's just how it's kind of evolved with that type of area. You date like we've said, you date and then you literally you with someone within a half an hour. It's kind of like the same with that. You do something within half an hour, you're like, nah, I don't want none of it. No.
Exactly. And then 9 months down the line, pop.
9 months down the line, yeah.
You're like,
that does happen.
You're going, fuck, that was the worst 10 minutes of my life.
10 minutes? Wow.
If they're lucky. That's my foreplay.
Foreplay. Well, there's 9 minutes. Kill the other bits.
Exactly. And I'm done.
I can imagine there's a lot of women going out there looking at their fellas now, going, "Yeah,
there goes. Fuck
we
off.
just caused World War III."
That's fine. I quite like that though.
I mean, then when you were growing up, was the people either around you or on TV, films that you looked up to like a role model?
Not really.
No, I wouldn't say so that I can remember. To be fair, I was always such a proper little mummy's boy, and my dad, as I say, my dad was always out playing football with my other brothers, and I was always such a little mummy's boy anyway. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I actually thought about it when I was growing up, and like when I look back now, I think.
Okay, well, let's put it this way. Say not so much as a role model, but when you were growing up, did you find there was more male influences on, say, on your toys, on the programs you watched?
Yeah, because it was all like Action Men and A-Team and everything like that back when like in the 80s when I was growing up. That was like it was more like male role. It was like more cast males, weren't it? Like, so you had like Batman, Superman, fucking He-Man, A-Team. It was always a male thing. It was never any like strong female. I mean, Katie had Sheila, but that was sort of like a one of them, weren't it? Let's just throw a female in there to keep the girls happy.
I mean, I'm kind of glad how there are now more inclusivity to bring the stronger female characters in.
Yeah, totally.
I've seen some shows which, for once, I'm not going to mention. I think everyone who's into all this kind of knows who I mean.
Does it begin with D?
Shut up. It's with female character as being portrayed as a strong, independent, whatever type of female. But it seems to be at the
expense.
Yeah, the expense of the male characters, where a lot of them now look a bit soy boy or a bit of a cooks. You know, they're not. They're kind of like secondary and not really in. They're not there for any other reason apart from like it fills 10 minutes gap.
The only female character thing I can remember like watching growing up was like Prisoner Cell Block H and what was it, the Golden Girls. They were the only like sort of strong female characters that I could actually remember from like growing up.
Yeah, because I can remember like Bad Girls when that first started. I remember that era.
That was like the 90s, so weren't it? Early 90s.
That was early 2000s, yeah. So that was like my growing up. That's what I remember. That's the only female strong led. But then you'd look at you. What?
You young bastard. The noughties. That seems like last year.
Hey, the noughties. I was what? What was I? 2000. I was.
I'm not even going there.
9.
I was 18.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the fuck quiet. Not even going.
He was about 33.
Yeah, whatever. But the thing is, with programs then, from what I remember, recollecting, say, like mid 80s onwards, there was programs like Sapphire and Steel, showing me nerdiness now, Space 1999, where there was male and female lead characters in there. They shared the same type of screen presence. I'm just looking at the moment. We seem to tip the balance a little bit too much one way, which is something they complaining about the males being. But the females have kind of gone that way now.
Yeah, let's say there's more female cast for things now, isn't he?
Which is kind of fine, but
yeah, I totally agree. Fine, but
it's it's a bit like.
See, it's fine. I'm trying to put it across. I mean, I hope I'm not offending anyone here, but it's a case of it's fine to have the women in level playing on in the films and the programs, and not be put higher at the expense of other.
I think it just depends.
Did you mean demasculating someone? Do you mean in it?
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to mention it. Batwoman.
Yes, she's now a
Seems to crop
lesbian.
up every so often. She's a strong female character, ignoring the way it's fucking played, but that's not the point. But there's what's his name? It's gone now.
A dad.
No, the son of Morgan Freeman's character.
I'm lost. I don't watch it.
Yeah, we'll catch up in a minute.
Lucius
Fox. Yeah. Well, in portrayed in the TV series, he's just bleh.
It's a wet lettuce.
Yeah,
he's a wet one.
He is. He's
a wet wipe.
I mean, he's going to be coming up to become. I think it's Batwing. Or he's getting the. He's going to start coming a different character as well as the TV series come on. But yeah, whatever. But he portrayed him as a bit of a soy boy in the background. It just there's nothing there to him. Where he could have been so much more. He could have been the person that kind of moralistically showed Batwoman what to aim for, and then she progressed to being that and moving on as a stronger character.
Kind of like Alfred in Batman. He was that kind of person for Bruce. He was the person who would try and show him the ways and like give him the advice, even though he would never listen.
Yeah, he was like the father figure.
Yeah. Whereas like Lucius Fox, who did all the gadgets and stuff for Batman, he was a badass.
Yeah.
You wouldn't mess with him. Whereas like they brought his son in and he's a complete.
He's a win. He's a proper little soy boy. And you just can't like. But
like,
I mean, but there was no personality to come with the character.
But for that TV show, though, they have literally sacrificed all the male characters.
But it seems to be a thing that is happening more and more. Yeah. Film-wise, Bird of Prey, Ghostbusters, where they turned it all into a female.
I like that.
I didn't mind that idea. If it was, I've never watched it.
I liked it just because I like what's her name, Melissa McCarthy, and I think from a comical point of view, I enjoyed it.
See, I'll disagree with that one. I just don't find it funny whatsoever. You can only do so many fat jokes, and then it's like, yeah, okay.
See, I just love Melissa McCarthy. I think she's hilarious.
But
it just seems to be where a lot of the male characters, as Martin said, have been demasculated.
Demasculated.
Yeah. If you think in that movie,
emasculated.
In that movie, it was Chris Hemsworth, wasn't it? As
the
female role from the older films.
Yeah. Which I can see why. To point fingers and laugh at. That's why they've kind of done that character.
Oh God, yeah.
But I just feel that, like Birds of Prey, where they turned it into an all-female type of film, but really at the expense of the female characters that were in the film. Because if you go into like the comics and all that one, they were a lot better than what they were shown to be on the screen. And I'm just worrying whether now it's just a case of ticking boxes rather than creating entertainment.
It probably is, because I think people are scared to offend certain demographics, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, because everyone's got a voice now, and doesn't like all you've got to do is write it on a certain wall or put it in a certain place, and then you're gonna have all these sheep following along then and barring along with them.
All living in that person's little echo chamber.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Because I mean, because I suppose in a way, do you think that could cause any confusion in younger, say, boys, males growing up now, where they haven't got?
I can see where it would.
Yeah, I can see where it would, but I can see where
it's an hard one to try and explain, innit?
Yeah, because you've like being younger, you've always been told to look up to like certain people. Where I think looking at it now, you don't really have good enough role models. Because if you think now, if you ask a kid now who they know or who they look up to or blah blah blah, it's always a stupid YouTuber. I'm sorry, I am going to say stupid YouTuber who has, no offense, no qualities in the life that I think are worth sharing. We all could share our lives and blah. Get out and get a fucking job. Get a real job.
I totally agree with you. I mean, when I said if I babysit and I've got my nephew or my niece, they've got their head on YouTube and they're watching some stupid little fucking kid who's got more money than fucking God, who's made fucking billions from making slime, or fucking, oh, this is how I bead my hair. Stupid crap like that, but they've made billions from it.
Yeah.
And it's like, really?
Do you think that's because of our age and we just don't get it?
Quite possibly, but
it might be. But what? But then, like, you look at the parents and you think, me as a parent, I would not want my kids doing YouTube videos. Once they hit 16, do what you like. Don't care. Under my roof, you're going to get your education. You're going to stick to it.
Exactly. But these kids who've done it, like I say, they've made billions from it.
For me, that's setting them up to fail.
Think, because it is one of them, isn't it, where they have the look on it. They see people on YouTube making all this money, and they think, oh, it's only a camera. I talk into it, and I can make money. But I think you've got to be careful on like YouTube, because there's so much. Whether they say they monitor it, but there's a lot of sexual manipulation out there.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd only have to go and watch some channels and see the way the individual is flirting on the camera or the way they're dressed on the camera to attract views and people on Patreon to give them money and pay them so much every time they come on screen.
That's mean. It's just, I think it might just be a generation thing because we don't get it.
Yeah. But I'm not saying none.
Well, no, you are. That's why we're on here.
I'm keeping my mouth shut.
You don't say no. We're going to sit here for the next 35 minutes, giving it. It's been sunny today, hasn't it?
It's not.
It's not too bad. It's all right here, actually. No, but I think it is going back to. I mean, when I was growing up, role models to me was. It sounds silly, but there was like the $6 Million Man. There's Batman. There was a lot of male role models. I looked up to my dad. He was a hard worker.
Yeah.
But I also acknowledged and saw females around me that I also admired. There was a lot of strong women around that I thought, well done to them. I like what they're doing and the way they're coming across.
I mean, if you think back, there probably is that we could all probably go, oh, do you know what? Yeah, I like they, or yeah, I like them, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
No, I can't think like.
I can't think of I've got like the X-Files, Mulder and Scully. I liked Scully in that one as well because she was like
she was the level-headed one.
Yeah, she was the voice of reason to it, and I liked their character in that. But again, it's really played well off each other without making one the stronger, the more intelligent, and the other one kind of a sideline little sidekick that comes out sort of every so often.
I only ever watched a couple of episodes of that, though, to be fair.
I was proper sad and watched all of them.
That's all right.
Never seen it.
But then again, I had Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She was a strong female influence. She liked to get wood and stick it in things.
I'm not even going to mention it. I'm holding back on that one. I was going to say something else, but no, not just for today. I'm going to leave it. But again, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the series, it also had male and female characters in the background behind it.
Yeah.
But they were decent characters. They were well written.
They were well thought out characters.
They were useful. They weren't there just to fill a space.
No, and they evolved the characters as they went along. So each character grew. And that's what I liked about that.
I think again, in TV shows now you're not getting that.
Well, you're not, especially if you watch Doctor Who.
Doctor Who bores me.
Can I just say before anyone suddenly writes a comment, Doctor Who as a female, I thought awesome. The stories they could come out with, the different ways they could just veer off and come out with stuff as a perspective looking as a female on situations. But then when it came out, it was just basically preaching to you. Women amazing, all men bad, all white men bad as well, and just had to go here. And they had character. She had three of their fam or whatever they wanted to call them, traveling with her, and it was shit. Two fellas and a girl that was a police officer who had fuck all about it, and two fellas that one guy couldn't stick a fucking sentence together. And Bradley Walsh is the fella that was kind of there just, I'm not sure what he was there for.
Well, he's left now, hasn't he?
Well, he's probably suddenly realised he can act a lot fucking better than them. But again, it's where they try to put a strong female in the role, which is awesome. But the back characters with them have got nothing to them. They're just say yes, yeah.
I just don't think the scripts or the stories worked with any of it. The writing wasn't up to scratch to what it used to be. Which I think is also what's happened with Batwoman. Like the concept of it is fine. Like, having Batwoman in the lead role, that's fine.
Yeah.
But having the same villain for 20 odd episodes runs quite dry quickly.
Yeah.
Especially when it's
rude, then, but I won't.
What?
I was going to say something rude, then no, I won't. She's running. I don't know why. No excitement. Go on.
But even with that villain as well, all the male characters around that villain have come to a very gruesome demise at some point within the whole series. So you've still got this one villain who, up to now, you're just recycling the same story for the last 1.5 seasons.
I think also the problem with that, and I think it reflects in a lot of stories now, we kind of veered off a little about Father's Day, but yeah.
We'll get back onto it. I've got a question for you in a minute anyway.
Is that they've gone nowhere with the storylines.
Yeah.
There's been no build-up of characters, and it's not just on this show. There's so many out there that do the same thing.
This is just the easiest one to pick apart.
Yeah, oh god, yeah, there's so much. And and Loki.
Not watched it.
I have and felt like I haven't, because fuck all happens. I've just watched, the last one was basically, 48, 50 minutes of, should we have a talk? Let's talk about what's going on. I fucking hell, I got gay and then. Let's talk about what's going on. And very little showing. And Loki, the main character, it's this TV series. He's a dick. I kind of feel sorry for Tom Middleton, is it? Middleton? Yeah. He's trying his best. He's trying to get act in it. But again, the writing for him is
crap.
Yeah. You're the main character. You're meant to be strong. You're meant to be the one that kind of leads things, come up with ideas, says, let's do this. And he's kind of a little whip boy in the back. You're like, what are you doing here?
So I don't really watch them, to be fair, so I couldn't really comment on it.
Yeah.
Again,
Go on, do you have a question, Bernard?
Well, I do, actually. On Father's Day. So, obviously, like you're saying about people who want to get rid of Father's Day, blah, 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 blah. And we said about, if we got rid of Mother's Day, there'd be an uproar.
Yeah.
But what are your opinions on, and I'm not having to go at anyone for doing it, just to point that out, I'm just wanting an opinion. How are you about, say for example, if I didn't have a dad, okay? And because I see a lot of these posts on Facebook, and again, I'm not having to go at anyone, of, my dad isn't around, but my mum's my dad and this and that. How are you on, like some people getting 2 days?
Well, I don't see the problem in that.
I don't. I think if you're fulfilling that role and your child's basically appreciating you for being both mother and father, take both days.
Exactly, because my dad lost me mum when he was only my mum. My mum lost her life of cancer, blah blah, all that, and she left 5 young lads. The oldest was our Robbie, being 17, so he'd basically grown up anyway. Me, I was 15, but my dad had to bring us all up, and my youngest brother was 7, so he had to be mum and dad.
Yeah.
So just like some parents are single parents, and they have to be both. So I think you recognise them for what they do. If they act like your dad at times and they're strict, and you get that love and influence from them as the mother, or vice versa, whichever, then appreciate them for it.
See, now I don't see. Go on. I don't think dads get as much appreciation of fulfilling the mother role than they should do. I really don't feel that, because it's not a natural instinct for a dad to, do the caring side of the things like a mother's instinct. It's not thought of as natural, is it?
Well,
no, we're not being sexist on this. It's just
no.
The way society and the way people in general are. But
I just don't see.
I think, especially in a family situation, might not be so much outside and social because men put fronts on.
Yeah.
We do. But once behind closed doors, I think men are very capable of fulfilling that emotional role as well.
Yeah, I'll say, because say my dad, he had to be both, and he did do both, and he done it to a brilliant. He was brilliant. So I can't, but I get where you're coming from. I do think dads do get the shittier end of the stick at times, and they don't get the amount of appreciation as a mother does.
Yeah, especially doing that mother role as well, especially for girls, especially when you've got certain situations you need your mother. Going through adolescence, you need your mother through certain things, don't you? Because as a man, we won't get it.
Yeah.
I think it's also you probably a lot of men have the embarrassment as well.
Yeah.
Where if it's say your daughter's come to that age where they're going to start their periods.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all men, but there's going to be men out there that are going to be like, whoa,
yeah,
I need somebody else to explain this. I don't feel comfortable.
See, I had that last week. That I had my niece, and the school gave her a period pack, and she was talking to me about it, and I was like, hang on a minute, let me just ring your dad. And I FaceTimed, I was like, listen, can you hear what your daughter's saying to me? And he was just like, oh, I'm going to be sick in my mouth. He went, can you just ask your mum? And to be fair, I was just like, yeah, you need to speak to your mum about this. But I still talk to her about it because I think, you know what, I'd rather them be comfortable with me talking about things like that.
Yeah.
Do you think, though, with your brother, it's a case of, I mean, God forbid anything ever happened to the mother, but if he was thrown into the situation where he was both, he'd kind of accept that role and know he's got to step up and do it?
Yeah, he would do then, to be fair, but there's certain things you don't want to hear your 11-year-old daughter talking about, is he?
It is where it's like, oh, go, your mum's in the other room.
I mean, sex education and pre-cum and erections and all that sort of stuff. You don't want to hear an 11-year-old child talking about it, and you're like... But for me, being the perverted uncle that I am, I revelled in that. I found it deeply hilarious, and I was asking it to continue. I was like, please tell me more.
Can I ask a question, Omar?
Go on.
Right, and don't take this in the wrong way whatsoever. Does it help? Does it help? Does it help in a way that you are like a gay man? Does it make? I don't know how to put this. Does it make you a bit more approachable? Do you think than like me or Ian?
I don't know. Well, that's me. I wouldn't have, like, say, if you had any son, if you come up to me talking about their periods, I'd be like, I'd be like,
Right.
But
let me take it in a different context.
Now. Go on.
Like, say if one of your mates came up to you, and we had a mutual mate, would?
I do think females would probably talk to me more about female stuff than what they would to you.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to get at.
Yeah, and do you know what I think? And I do think being like gay, women do feel fine to think, do you know what, well, they're half and half, really, because I always say I'm half and half, so I think I am more approachable than the likes of, like, say if a woman was having, like, trouble with the downstairs area, I mean, and there was, like us straight together, they'd probably come to me more than they'd come to you and Ian, wouldn't they, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, well, you'd be like, no, you wouldn't really. But, no, you know what I mean, no. I do think I am more approachable when it comes to stuff like that. And, yeah. But I don't necessarily think you've got to be gay to be like that.
No, I just wanted to get, like, your perspective on it, because when you look, like, in social groups, it is more of a person who's gay or lesbian or bisexual.
Oh, God,
it is more them who get, like, all of that information, whereas, like, for me and Ian, we wouldn't hear any of that. That's why I just wanted to see if you think it's easier to talk to.
I do think, as I say, I think it all depends on the person, because you could have friends who talk to you about anything, any female friends that talk to you about anything, rather than talking to other people, because they find you approachable. And same with Ian. They've got to have people who can find you about anything and everything.
I mean, I've got people like that who do discuss things that is very personal to them.
Yeah.
They know I'm one of them. That will give them a frank and honest answer. Where I won't sugar something to make it sweeter. I'll just basically say, yeah, fuck it, no. I mean, I've got a girl in work and she'll get an outfit out and she'll be like, how's this make me look? And she'll ask me because of the simple fact, I can't be able to probably a bit too brutally honest. But she knows she'll get an honest answer.
And you know what? And you'd rather be around somebody like that than somebody's going to lie to you and bullshit you and send you out looking like a fucking state.
Because she did it the other day. She held the top up and she goes, "Do you think this makes me look big?" And I was first thing out my mouth, I was like, "No, it's the fat around your stomach that makes you look big. It's not the top." And I'm not being offensive to anyone that's slightly bigger. It's just the rapport and the way we speak to each other. But she kind of appreciates probably not being called fat, like, but she appreciates the honest answer.
Say, I work with this woman. Oh, she's fucking vile. Absolute vile. That she's got to be. And I don't hate many people. I've never hated anyone in my life, but I hate her. I hate her with a passion. She's such a narcissist. She come into work. I had to work with her every Saturday and Sunday. Well, every Sunday, and she's in her late 30s, and she come in, and she literally went, I'm dripping, and then she turned round and asked me to look at her backside to see if anything was coming through her jeans. I mean, and I'm no prude, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah. You know what? There's certain things you can keep to yourself. I don't want to know.
You should not. I mean, but that was what. But she's like that constantly, and it was always something like that, and she made me physically sick. And there's that, and I get it. She might have felt like she can say things like that to me, because I'm gay, whatever. But I was like, you filthy, dirty bitch, get the fuck away from me. You knock me ill.
Yeah, I mean, in all honesty, don't know where to go with that one.
No, that's what I mean. So I feel like, as you say, it's like people feel like, you're approachable and you can say what you like and, but keep it to a level that's,
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, people know when they've overstepped the mark is if they say something and I kind of go, oh, that's bad.
Yeah,
that's
you know when you've really stepped the mark when you go.
If I think, oh, it is
God, oh God, that's this. But that's me. But it's stuff like that I go, I will draw the line up. When I say I'll talk to anybody about anything, quite open, and I'll say I'll be like, how are you, flaps, and all that type of thing. I will. As I say, I'll be like, how are things downstairs? You're all right? You're happy? You're clean? And I'll have that conversation because I say, I don't, there's no shame in it.
But not to physically look and see.
Yeah.
One of them, she's not a virgin because when she runs, she claps.
Yeah. But yeah, it was vile. That was like one of the worst experiences of my life.
I just love the way Paul Bennett keeps covering his head and oh God, no.
He's like, no.
I want to build this channel up. I want to get us recognised, but for the right reasons.
Yeah, so
do you know if we ever get snatched up by any TV or YouTube or whatever, I can imagine these maybe first 12 episodes might mysteriously go missing.
Can I just say, do you want it to become like a Christian channel?
Like God love Jesus,
and everything's like we'll internally bleep ourselves.
Not after the picture I sent you before of Jesus.
I haven't got that yet, actually. I don't think it's come through.
It's literally of the Last Supper, and Jesus says, "This is my body." Eat some bread, it's my body. Then drink the wine, it's my blood. Then anyone want mayo? No way.
I'm out. See, I like people who can find that.
You were going to say I like mayo then?
I like the mayo.
You know what? I don't actually mind mayo. Bit of salad cream.
Bit of man mayo.
Yeah. Bit of seasoning. Say nothing. No, but there's probably people that will look at that joke and get really, really offended.
Yeah, but it's said in jest and it's said with. It's said in jest.
That's the problem nowadays. People get offended too easy.
Yeah. Snowflakes.
And half the time, if you're offended by something, fuck off.
It's like
press the button, go on to something else.
It is. It's like the Pogues, innit? No, you cheap lousy faggot, of all these little fucking new gays jumping on the bandwagon saying, I find it offensive. Well, I'm fucking gay. I don't find the word faggot offensive. It's how you say it. If somebody went to me, oh, fuck off, you faggot, and it was said in jest, I'd be like, but if somebody went and said it like in a nasty way, it's the tone.
Yeah.
And if people can't tell the difference, then you're a fucking muppet.
I think you've also got to realise a lot of stuff that you listen to now, especially if it's from certain era going back 10, 15 years. Because I see 2011 to 2013, things started changing with the social media and people started whinging about, that's my feelings. That's when that started to escalate on. But stuff prior to that, it was of its time, of its age. Some stuff I listen to and I'm like, I don't like the use of that word, but I'm not going to get offended by it. But it was used then.
See, I watched a clip on Facebook the other day, and it was the Queen. It was like a clip. It was like a comedy sketch show from back in the 80s, and I can't remember who it was, like Bob Reeves or Mortimer or someone, one of those ones. And it was like the Queen had had a handbag robbed, and she was doing a lineup, and it was like where she was walking down like in Africa, like the way they have like the army stood in front of her, and it was all blacks, and she went, and it was like the gag was, I wonder if she'll be able to spot the person who robbed her because it was a black person and they were all black, and everyone was pissing themselves. But back then, that was the humour, and nothing got said.
Yeah. Whereas now, I mean, I'd find that kind of offensive now.
Yeah, that's me. You would.
But we are 2021. People have got to realise we have moved on in a lot of things for the better. But unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff out there that has just gone too far.
That's me. But that was the humour back in the 80s, and it wasn't frowned upon. It was.
You can't really reprimand them now, because it's like.
I mean, as you're thinking, there, humour from the 70s to now,
it's completely
vast difference.
Yeah, because it's like Lee Francis from when he did Bo Selector 20 years ago. Even like that jump, but like it's got to up to now where, like, was it last year or the year before, where he had to make a public apology, but which most probably at the time it was offensive to the person who was receiving it. But, and I'm not condoning it because I don't really like it.
The thing is, though, I mean, I never really liked that. I didn't find it funny.
No, I didn't find it funny.
Why make an apology about it now? Because he wouldn't be where he is now without doing that.
I'm sorry, but I've got come and sing with me, proper Grimbo Selector running through my head.
But I think it was all of the Black Lives Matter stuff last year which made him apologise. From what I remember.
Get on that one, because to me, the Black Lives Matter as a principle and as an idea, all four, couldn't back it enough. As an organisation, from what I've seen, what I've heard, I don't see what they're doing. Especially where you're getting a lot of, put out there's a lot of black people now coming out and asking, what have you done? What are you doing? You're all talk. I haven't seen anything actually being put into place. I might be totally wrong, and people might in the comments say this school or this business has been set up to help and either educate or whatever. That would be amazing. I haven't seen that advertised. I haven't seen them come through and say, we supported this, we put money into this funding, and we built this. So, to me, as an idea, as a principle, yeah,
it's fantastic.
There's a lot of stuff there that needs to be sorted out. I just haven't seen any outcome of it being dealt with or seen to. All we seem to hear on TV and news reports, another riot.
Yeah.
There's something happened, there's another kick-off. So, I mean, that's like cause and effect. There's nothing there to either stop that happening in the first place, or once it's happened, resolve the matter. Which is something I say that's either it's not reported on or it's not happening.
No, it's all. I don't know, that's another tough one, isn't it? It's just because you don't want to offend anyone by saying what you.
I mean, I'll probably offend somebody now. I've watched some SJW female comics and comedians. Mate, it's probably not aimed towards me, but I don't find them funny. The odd joke, I will giggle. As a stand-up show, I kind of sit there like, I don't know where you're going with this.
You know, it's all. Again, it's another tough one, isn't it? You don't really know where to take it.
I mean, my humour covers such a varied spectrum.
God, yes. That's why we get on so well.
Oh, God, yeah. From downright rude to something that was kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
I find it funny, I find it funny.
Yeah.
But humour now at the moment, I'm kind of... It's not so much telling jokes, it's trying to put a political view across. And that to me, it's not really that funny.
No. Comedy and politics shouldn't really go together.
No.
Unless it's Biden trying to walk upstairs.
Yeah. But that was quite comical.
Do you think they could get a stair lift fitted to the plane?
Air Force One plane. A little escalator.
With a little stair lift, like... Poor little Biden, like... Hiya. And there goes our American views.
No,
oh well,
I am all for
just
Biden.
Germany to go.
Yeah.
Right. I can I move on to because I'm going to take over your rant of the week this week, if that's all right with you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, come on. Bernard's rant of the week. I love
Yeah,
it.
I'm looking forward to this.
Right. So
Big screen, bitch. No, you fucking do it to me. There you go.
Do you know, right, what's annoying me this week is we've had the G7 summit down in, was it Dorset?
Cornwall, yeah.
Southy part of the country, which doesn't like the north. Right. And so we've just been given 4 more weeks in the current restrictions, haven't we? So we've not had the okay to open our nightclubs and all that jazz, and which I'm not really bothered about. But to get to the point across of this Indian variant is coming in and it's boosting up numbers again, to then hold a G7 summit with 7 different nations, 7 different nation leaders, to also then have the Queen go in on that day as well. But the images coming out are, which I know they most probably have been tested and all that jazz, but you've got leaders of countries standing next to each other, having a little garden party, standing up, eating when they're not allowed to. We're following all the rules. We're sitting down when we're eating. We're not standing up chatting. We're not gathering in big, massive groups. So what on earth gives them the right to completely ignore our rules, especially with bloody Boris the Doris, flappy-haired, stupid... Anyway.
That's rich coming from you when I seen it in the car today.
What gives them the right to completely ignore the rules apart from... Why not do it like we're doing it over Zoom, over camera? A full weekend, easier to accommodate. Not really going to be that hard to do. Save you so much money and save Cornwall Council from closing everywhere. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't see why they need to...
Don't you know why, Bernard? It's because it's do what I say, not what I do.
Exactly. But it just annoys me that they're moaning about this new variant, and then you've got
listening to the car today, weren't we? Where they were giving figures about death rising by such an amount and stuff like this. Now it has been told that a lot of the COVID deaths weren't actually COVID, it was somehow related. Yeah, and I think a lot of deaths were thrown in to boost the figures.
Yeah.
The deaths are if anyone who dies 28 days after having COVID, you don't even have to have COVID. You could be hit by a bus and they'll put it down as COVID. That's what they're going with.
And they weren't doing any autopsies either, so it was all COVID related.
Yeah, these stupid figures are not to what they actually should be reporting. If you get hit by a bus, you get hit by a bloody bus. That's how you died. Impact, not death.
In my opinion,
COVID.
The way
I've been hit by a bus.
We know.
Yeah. In my opinion, I think now the way we're living and the way we are, this is probably as good as it's going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as horrible as it sounds, if we get the jabs and we get all that done, open up, and unfortunately,
we need to learn to live with it.
Yeah.
But it's the same as the flu, though. How many people die from the flu each year?
I actually know that 440,000 a year worldwide die of the flu, but no one's died of the flu in the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's probably all been, if you have, it's COVID.
Right.
There you go. I know that because I googled that.
On a lighter note, I've got a lighter note, which I'm going to share this image for you.
Oh, it's not you naked again?
No, it's not me naked again. I thought this was absolutely hilarious. I love this image. It's the Queen cutting the cake for the G7 summit with a ceremonial sword.
When the knife's right in front of her.
Oh no, literally the cake was quite hard to cut, and even one of the people beside her was like, "There's a knife there, you know, Mom," and she was like, "I know, it's just hard to cut." And I just love her whimsical sense of humor, even for 95. It's like spot on. And it was
I'm not a big royal family, but that's awesome.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, but her humor for how old, because she's always has a really good sense of humor. Because I remember there's a story of 2 American tourists are up in Balmoral, in the grounds, and they approach the Queen, and she says to them, they say to her, "Have you ever met the Queen?" And she's like, "Oh, I've never met the Queen, but this gentleman," who was a bodyguard, "this gentleman has," and they started talking to him about the Queen.
What a way to pass the book on.
It is.
See, I can imagine she'd just turn around if anybody says anything. She'd twat them.
Do you know what? She's a woman of a certain age. You've got to give her some respect, haven't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a royalist in any way, shape, or form, and I don't see what the royal family's got to do with life in any way. They're just fucking idiots. But I did like the fact that Noel Gallagher messaged what is it, William, and said, "I know what it's like to have a prick of a younger brother."
Who said that?
Noel Gallagher to Prince William.
Yeah,
He went, "I know what it's like to have a prick of a younger brother, so I sympathise with you." Imagine sending that to the fucking future king. Your brother's a prick. Sorry,
to be fair, I don't really like a lot of the royals, but I loved Philip just for his comic time, and I loved the Queen just for her comic responses.
Oh, Philip was awesome. Philip didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Oh god, no, I love Philip. He was brilliant. He was absolutely brilliant. God help him, he was 100 last week. Well, should have been.
Yeah.
The only PC thing about Philip is if he had a fucking laptop. There was nothing there about it.
No, I think that. Can you imagine the PR people in that place anytime he went out?
I'm like, that fuck. What's he done now?
Here we go again. Fucking hell.
What's he done now? Well, yeah, no, I thought that would be a nice whimsical little happy note to finish on.
Yes, I like that.
Good. You can take over your thing again next week. I'm not doing it unless I've got a really bad rant.
No, that's fine. I do not mind passing on the sword.
You can save your rant for next week because I was going to get on board with Ian's rant.
We'll keep it for next week, though.
You can do your rant now if you want.
No, we'll keep it
now. To get that
it'll do for next week. It might get people going, well, that's going to be, let's go and watch. Yeah. So come back, subscribe, like, share. Make us famous on YouTube because that's what we really want.
I know.
I
want to be signed autographs.
I need a house. Buy me a house.
I still need a new fucking chair.
Why don't you set yourself up a Just Fans page?
A what?
Me or Ian?
Both of yous. You can get a new chair out of it.
I haven't got the body for that. I haven't got the body for that.
Listen, not about bodies. It's all about the confidence. Be body confidence. Whip it out, whack it off, and do what you need. And then charge for it.
Bit like that news reporter.
Yeah.
On the Zoom meeting.
Do it. I'm sure you get someone out there willing to pay it.
I'll see if... I'll have to get a new camera, though, because this one doesn't zoom. And if I climb on my desk, I'll break it. Or what I might do is buy a little false plastic hand, tiny one, and make my cock look bigger.
Yeah. There's an idea to be like, oh, look at the size of that. You'll be like that guy out of Scary Movie with the little fucking club hand, like Jeremy Beadle going...
And boom, we're off here.
Fist in the turkey.
Right, Ian, sign us off.
Thank you, everyone, for watching this tonight. Thanks for Bernard and Martin for joining me tonight. And we shall see you next week.
Anytime.
Bye now.
Bye.